Pacific salmon are amazing creatures. You know, their lifestyle starts off in a freshwater environment, could be in the interior waters of like British Columbia. And little baby fish will start their journey down the river and migrate down the river, could be 800 miles from headwaters like in the Stewart River, Upper Fraser, the Skeena, and head towards the ocean. And that life cycle takes them all the way out to the Pacific Ocean. And they can swim out to the middle of the Pacific Ocean. We've sent out scientific expeditions. We participated with groups that do that, and documented their life cycle where they go out to almost like halfway to Japan, Korea, and Russia, like out to the Aleutians, and they feed and grow out there, and they swim all the way back and return to the same creeks and streams that they left 4 years earlier, 5 years earlier sometimes. So if they are successful enough and they make it through the gauntlet of everything from disease and pathogens on the migration route to predation to getting past seals and orcas and all that, and they make it to the terminal areas to the mouth of the river, then they still have to get through all the industrialization and urbanization that affects them. But now we have new things under that they have to kind of like navigate, and things like forest fires, drought conditions, not enough water. You don't have enough water, the water heats up, and there's not deep pools for those fish to stay in. So amazing creatures. They gotta jump waterfalls and go through the canyons and things to get the 800 miles back up to where they're gonna go spawn. Thing is, people really want to know, well, we're concerned about what we're hearing as the decline of Pacific salmon, but they don't really understand how long that journey is, how complex it is. How do people, the average lay person that's not familiar, or a company or an organization, how do they help? How do they make this happen? And what we want to do is make sure that people understand we can connect you with people that can work on different segments, whether it's protecting water, protecting the watershed, helping with salmon enhancement projects, if it's dealing with science and information. So this is a big task, and what we're trying to do is break it into simple and easy concepts for people to understand how we can utilize their contributions, their assistance, where their interest, and how we can connect it with First Nations that have a vested interest of making sure that we have salmon for 7 generations ahead. We've inherited fish from our ancestors with the responsibility to look after it. And that's our way of moving this forward. In a cultural context, we call it getting to a good place in a good way. And how we're designing this work is to make sure that we can be a bridge builder between First Nations that see salmon as part of their identity, part of their food security, part of who they are, part of a cultural context, to those people that are non-Indigenous that want to be a part and help. So that's the work that we're doing at the Indigenous Stewardship Fund.
Hi, my name is Ben Sutherland, and I'm working on a project with Ha'um Fisheries Society that's being supported by the Indigenous Stewardship Fund. This project is a project that uses technologies called genetic stock identification and parentage-based tagging to essentially find out where different salmon originated from when they're caught outside of their spawning grounds. What this project's doing is it's making it so that groups like Ha'um Fisheries Society can do this work themselves. They can analyze the data on their own computers. They can generate the data themselves. And I think this is going to be a game changer for salmon conservation and research on West Coast Vancouver Island, but also throughout British Columbia. It's going to be really exciting. Stay tuned in the next year or so, and we'll start sharing some of the great results that are made possible by this support from Indigenous Stewardship Fund.
Hello. Thank you for the opportunity to express our gratitude for the Indigenous Stewardship Funds that we received last year. With the dollars, we were able to add beaver dam analogs to Lee Creek, which was in Hawkwam, where we work on Salt Spring Island. This watershed was a highly industrialized area that has a salmon-bearing creek called Lee, and it had not received any restoration post-logging. So the incised channel was not supporting fish and in the upper reaches. So the funding is working to add the BDAs, beaver dam analogs, and wetlands to the side channels in the upper watershed, which is going to drastically improve the fish rearing habitat. We especially rely on the funding to help these streams because the provincial government funding is very limited, and these are provincially regulated streams and in a BC provincial park. So without this funding, we would not be able to do the restoration work, and that is life-changing for the Indigenous people that work and live in this park.
Yes, thanks to the ISF grant from First Nations Fisheries Council, we were able to purchase the last bit of equipment for our Copper River Coho camera project. And last fall, we were able to, for the first time ever, get an estimate of coho escapement on the river. So that's our first step towards developing a sustainable escapement target. So very important to the Haida Nation.